What is good, you guys? It's your boy Randy Anderson here with the Average Guy podcast on the Average Guy Studios. And today, like I told you guys last week, well, actually this week and last week, this is going to be part of the lady show, man. And we have a couple questions for our two new co-hosts. But right now, I want to let all my co-hosts introduce themselves. Go ahead. We'll let Lauren go first.
Wakanda forever. What's up?
And next.
Corey, back for the get down again. Shout out to the Boston Celtics. Yeah.
And we have the lovely Latoya, because I don't know if her mic is still muted.
Hello, everybody.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, my lovely cousin.
Hi, my name is.
Hi. This is
My lovely cousin Aisha. And so the question we have for you ladies today is the difficulty of balancing business and your personal life or your social life. You guys hear me?
Yeah. Is the question, is it difficult to balance social and business?
Yes, ma'am.
I would say yes at times, because they're like just any like you're human and you want to go have a good time, hang out with your family or your friends or whatever. But I think if you're running a business, it also comes down to priorities and sacrifice. I think as we all know, any good business that's up and coming or established, it's all about like they got there through sacrifice and hard work. So I would say yes, it is, but it's worth the sacrifice. Like I think sacrificing the social part is worth it.
Okay, Aisha.
I really don't have an answer that differs too much from that. To be quite honest, my business is a small business, and because it's primarily on weekends, I find it harder to balance my life with my my children as opposed to say a social life, because I've kind of gotten rid of that long time ago. So I find it far more difficult to give myself permission to kind of push forward, be away, do the things that I have to do in order to make my business function. So I'm learning to give myself permission in that area, because I think in the past I felt that it was too much of a sacrifice to do that and to still be there, for my kids and my family. So I'm on a learning curve right now, I think. So okay. I'd say it for me, it's probably more difficult than I want to admit, if I'm honest.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the kids as well. Latoya, does that factor into it?
Oh, definitely. I would say I would agree with Aisha. It's really hard to find the balance, especially if you like a working mom, you work outside the home,
mm-hmm.
and then you come home have to balance the family, and you have a side hustle. It's super hard.
Okay. Another question for you guys: does your social media presence diminish with your side hustles and your business?
For me, it has increased. I would say that social media was something that I wasn't really necessarily a fan of. Probably was one of the last people to join Facebook outside of the elderly. So, and I've been told that I need to amp up social media. And I think, that's the way of the world in business right now. People are very social. They want to see you. They want to see what you're doing. They want you to expose yourself so that, you stay current and fresh on their minds. And, that's something that I have to give a lot of extra thought to. Of late, I have forced myself to go live a couple of times just because I know it's what I'm supposed to do. So I'm sort of begrudging to it. It's not necessarily that something that I'm comfortable with yet, So, because again, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. We're not in the same room. You're asking me questions, and oftentimes I forget that people are going to ask me questions, so I hurry up and end the video. So I'm real green when it comes to communicating, which is another reason that I don't have myself displayed on video tonight because it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, Latoya.
I would say my social media presence has increased just because I do understand, like kind of like what Aisha said. That means that's just how consumers communicate nowadays. Anywhere you go, like go to a restaurant, go to a grocery store, even people shopping, everybody's on their phone. And so I realized that. And so I'm actually learning the different tools that can help, a business owner be more effective from social media or even like different apps to help you organize your workflow.
Okay. Yeah, Corey or Lauren, do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask?
Oh, I have a question. So, when you talk about the modern woman and the fact that, more women are in the workforce, you have more women that are entrepreneurs. How do you think that does or does not disrupt the structure of the home as far as, you know, uh, you know, the difference in between, now and back in the day where women were the primary homemakers and things of that nature? How do you think it disrupts the home? And do you think that men are actually fully able and capable to counterbalance maybe, if the woman's the primary breadwinner?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
That's a hot
It
question. I
is.
like it.
That's a loaded question. I'll start with a disruption of the home. I think it's only disruptive if you allow it to be disruptive, and that's with anything.
Mm,
I think it starts with you and your partner, or whoever you married, or whoever you with, being on the same page. Like for me, like I work outside the home like more than about 50 hours a week, and I have a toddler, and so that meant like from my husband's perspective, he had to help out more with household chores, stuff that he normally didn't have to do in the last 10 years. That it was kind of like we had a discussion, and it's like I can't work and come home and cook, take care of the baby, wash dishes, do laundry, clean the house. Like that's not like it's like I'm Superwoman, but I'm not that super. Just keeping it real. So I think it's only just like I said. I think it's only disruptive based on the views that your family has, and I don't want to like put somebody's views down. I think we all have different views, and I respect, how different households are ran.
Aisha, I
I
pose
would,
the same
I,
question.
yeah, I would say, my perspective is slightly different because I'm a homemaker first. So my husband is the sole breadwinner provider for our home. He takes care of all the bills. So, but that's a choice that, we made for our household, and it's something that he requested of me because I worked outside the home for many years, but he likes to be the provider. And so I have supported him in allowing him to take headship of our home and providing for our family. And I really, quite frankly, don't believe that I could have the ability to do what I do as a small business owner if I didn't have the financial support and backing of my husband, knowing that things are taken care of at home. So um you know I can't speak for other women in other scenarios and circumstances, but being a working mother, being a wife, it's important to me that I have a husband that is financially stable and secure, that can be a backbone for me to hold me up, when, business may not be doing well. I don't feel um, some of the pressures that, other small business owners may feel if they didn't have somebody that was holding them up, essentially, you know. So the goal for me is to, you know, be self-sustaining and sufficient within my business, but I know that I have that backup there. So I think it's essential to have someone who's either your equal or who is, you know, an ultimate provider. I just, in my mind, maybe I'm limited, but I don't see how that works if, you know, the woman is the sole provider and a mother. Like, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
That's very true. Another thing I want to ask you guys: does it diminish, like you were saying, but does it diminish the value of the person of your husband or significant other in your eyes if they're not the sole what's the word I'm looking for, the sole breadwinner?
No, not at all. And I'll just be candid. Like in my marriage, like I'm not the sole provider, but I make quite a bit more money than my husband. But it doesn't affect our relationship. He's still the leader of the household. So, like, like I said, once again, it depends on your relationship and how you have whatever, you know, values that you have set up with your partner or your spouse or whatever. Like, and
Okay.
through my career, like I just have progressed faster, I guess. And so
Mhm.
like I do, like I make quite a bit more, like twice as much as what he makes. But it hasn't affected our relationship or anything. It's just kind of what it is. And I like we always joke, we'll get to the point where it's gonna be the opposite. So I just think right now where we're at, that's just where we're at. But hasn't affected anything in our relationship. No.
Okay.
Now other people it might, but like I said, I understand the role, and he's still the head of our household, regardless of how much money he brings home.
Okay. Thank you, Aisha.
Yeah, I would say the only way that, you know, respect could be diminished is if there was a breach in contract for me. You know what I'm saying? So if there was a pre-arrangement establishment that someone would be something, right? They established this is who I am, this is what I'll be in the relationship. That's the only way I can cry foul, you know, and same with him. So if we establish from beginning that these are the expectations that he has of me, and I breach the contract, I'm unable to fulfill, you know, what he's asking of me, I could see him feeling slighted or feeling that, you know, I as a woman am diminished. And the same way I feel like, you know, if that were the case. So for instance, you know, he was unemployed for 6 months, and his biggest fear as a man was that I would leave during that time. And for me, my biggest concern was how he felt about himself emotionally. So it became my duty to hold him up during that time and just to reassure him that, you know, I wasn't going to leave, and that, you know, I was going to be able to be patient, do what I had to do, stretch the money, make sure our bills were, you know, met and the kids were taken care of, those sort of things. So, certainly during that time, you know, he wasn't diminished in my household. He was still head of the household. I still respected him. I understood he was in a position that, you know, he couldn't prevent. So, but it caused him to, you know, want to get into a position where he could again provide. And, you know, I certainly respect and want him to be in that position because that's what he wants. And actually that changed from the very first time we started dating. He never wanted a stay-at-home wife, so he said. And probably within 5 years of being married, he changed his mind and came to me and told me that. So for me, that was hard because I was coming from being a single mom, doing it myself. So it really took a big chunk out of me to kind of take a step back and say, okay, I'll let him do this. But, you know, I wouldn't think less of him um, if, you know, if something unforeseen happened. But, you know, if it was a circumstance he could control, I have to admit I would. Yeah, I would think less of him if it was something he was doing on purpose. not to provide and do the things that he stated he wanted to do. So
Alright.
I'm here in front.
Yo,
Y'all
that
got some lucky husbands, blessed and
boy.
highly favored, blessed and highly favored.
But I think that's a really good question about like the pressure. I would say for both roles, the pressures of being a man and being the head of the house, and the pressures of being a woman too. I think like it begs like what the theories and I want to say theories and teachings that society has continued to like tell us like this is what this is what makes a man and this is what makes a good woman. And I think like it depends on like, and those things are false to me. I think it depends on like like Aisha mentioned, like the expectations and standards that you set for your own relationship. Cause like her husband should not have felt bad that less, you know what I mean? Because he still like loves his family. But I think, like I said, it goes back to those things that we taught or kind of embedded us as like children. Like this is the role of X or Y.
Okay. All
You
right.
smart.
Another thing I had a question for you guys that I got from somebody else. They wanted to know as business women, what are some of the things to look out for in the beginning?
The best advice my dad, who's been in business for 35 plus years, ever gave me was to whenever you're ready to grow, push pause for 3 to 6 months. And if you still feel that you're able to, and by growth, I mean like expand, right, your business.
Mm-hmm.
Then wait, right? Because in that 3 to 6 months, if you're still in that same upward momentum where you can take on more, then that's an easy push, right? So for me, I pushed pause and slowed myself way down in the very beginning of my business. And I first had the idea to be a business, with brick and mortar and all that. And after, talking with my dad, I changed my concept so that I could become a mobile business. And that helped me immensely with overhead and things like that. It gave me the push that I needed to just push go and be okay. And so I'm just now at a place where I'm, dual. So I'm still mobile, to a certain degree with my business. And then I have, a space, now. So I'm holding myself to that same advice that my dad gave me. So, when he came to look at the space, he said, okay, this is a good place to start. It's small, it's manageable, but this is a place to grow from, so with the understanding that this can't be the final destination. So, that'll be something I just follow, I think, from here until forever.
Okay. Latoya?
Yeah, but be in a good place, right?
Oh, can you repeat the question so I can make sure I have clarity?
Okay. Some of the things in the beginning that you should look out for your business starting off in the beginning.
I would say one, know your customer in and out, and make sure you're able to offer them something that they can't get. Like, make sure your service stands out where they can get it. They can't get it anywhere else. I would say also like set realistic expectations about like profitability, because realistically, it takes honestly like 2 to 3 years for businesses to really make money to be profitable. So it's to set realistic expectations and don't expect to ball out your first year.
Mm-hmm.
And learn from your mistakes. Like, I follow gosh, I don't have brain freeze. He's the African American shark, Damon.
The guy that made it's not
Damon
Fubu.
Dash.
Yeah, like I follow him, and he was just like, if you are in business and you haven't made any mistakes and you haven't like rewritten your business plan, then you're not growing. Because like businesses grow, your customers grow, like your concept should continue to evolve because your consumers, continue to evolve. So that was just something that always stood out to me. Like you said, you should be rewriting your business plan in the first 3 years a few times because you have made so many mistakes that you know how to keep getting better. So like, don't expect. I guess I'm trying to say, don't expect perfection, but
Okay.
expect to fail, make some failures so you can continue to get better.
All right, I have one more question for you guys. Who were some of the people that you looked up to in the beginning, and do you still look up to them?
From a business perspective,
Mhm.
Yes, from a business perspective. My bad.
oh, mm, I gotta think about this one.
No, Ofri.
Oh yeah, obviously, the Queen B.
Hey, it's
Bruh.
all it's all right to pop your own collar. You may have inspiration from your own mind. Shoot, you never know. Hey, pop your own collar if it's you.
I would say, man, I guess it would be Oprah. I would say also Candy Burris. She's from
Mhm.
Escape. She's been a businesswoman for years, and she's been making money even when she wasn't like performing, and like her whole thing is about having multiple streams of income, and it's kind of inspiring. Like her whole story, people like sleep on her, and like she's one of the richest housewives, on
Yeah.
the show, but like she not like a bragger. She just handle her business, And she's one thing I like about her. She's always putting somebody else on. It's not all about her, but she brings people up with her.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, mentioned my dad earlier. So my dad in having business longevity has definitely been a motivator for me. As well as I have a couple of friends that are small business owners. One of my best friends has been in business for over 14 years now as a web designer, and she owns a small company. And she's one of my mentors that I talk to on a regular basis. She gives a lot of troubleshooting, advice and ideas and things like that. So I have actually a good small quaint community of girls that I went to high school with that have started businesses. So kind of looking to them. We've tried to have a couple of meetings where we go over the pitfalls of small businesses, things to look forward to, things to watch out for, just kind of encouraging one another. So I think that's something that is important as a small business owner, to get around other like-minded people that are in similar lifestyles and situations, because they get it. Talking to your spouse and friends is okay, but there's a different side of life that being a business owner provides that only I think people that are actually in the trenches get. So I think that's really important. So those are people that I've been looking up to and that I've been allowing to kind of help me.
Okay. And the last question. Oh, this is for everybody. This is for everybody on the cast. But yeah, you said something about her somebody being a mentor. What do you guys feel that everybody should have a mentor?
Absolutely. Like several different types of mentor. I think you can have like a mentor for like your personal life. You can have a mentor for your business. You can have a mentor for your career. But yeah, like kind of like the it takes a village concept. I think you can learn different things from different people. So absolutely.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Yeah,
I'll
I
go
think if
next.
you don't have a mentor, you should at least have a accountability person. And that person is just someone who knows what your goals are, and helps you keep on track. Like they ask you, so how's this going today? You know what I mean? So even if you have a good friend who, really can't help you per se and can't guide you, that person, could agree to keep you accountable. So, until you can get a bigger circle and get you a mentor.
Okay. Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, I think mentors are incredibly important. Again, whether it's personal or professional. I mean, I've had the opportunity to mentor through Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and when you're able to see the impact that you have on another person from a I guess being the mentee point of view, I mean, it's incredible because the biggest thing that makes me proud of what I did is that they're doing the exact same thing I'm doing now. So, not only did they grab something from me, but they were able to project that same thing back out to somebody else in need. So,
okay. Corey, what you got for us?
Yeah, mentors are very necessary. They operate in the same way the history books do. The relics of history, people, especially people of older age, your elders, they're basically relics of history. They'll be able to point out different pitfalls and different things, for the younger generation. That's what they're there for. Whether you want to take it or not. A lot of times they're, just listen to them, and you'll be able to, when different problems arise, you'll be able to, encounter it head on. You'll have that different knowledge. So what they're there for, the ancestors, everybody's an ancestor.
Okay.
That came before. So yeah, a mentor is definitely needed.
All right. And all right, guys. I know the ladies have to get back to their families and get some beauty sleep. So
I got one more thing for them.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad, you guys.
Just shout out your business right quick for me. That's all I want. Shout out your business, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right, so I guess I'll go first. My business is called Sophisticated Scapes. You can look me up at sophisticatedescapes.com. You can look me up on Facebook at Sophisticated Scapes. I think that's it. Yep. And all the pertinent information you need to contact me or to inquire about my business is those two places.
And my business is
Sophisticated Scapes.
Yes.
Okay. Scape. That's SCAPE, right?
SCAPES. Scapes.
Okay.
Got it. I'm following you. Got it.
Yep, and you can you find me on Facebook under Aisha Wilkes, and if but yeah, so.
Latoya?
my business is called 79 Rose with a Z. To play off my last name, 79 ROZE, and you can find me at 79 ROZE at Instagram and Facebook. And basically, my business is a little black dress shop. So anytime, any event or anything you go into, you need a little black dress, you just look me up and call me, and I'm gonna plug my little soft launch of my dress shop for June 29th. So that's the follow.
Okay. And make sure you guys send me both of y'all links so I can put them in the description below. Yeah, I'll do that after this is over with. I'll make sure I put both of you guys all your information in the description below, so that if they want to find you, they'll find you.
Okay.
All right, and this will be it after this commercial break.